I've had a terrible moment of my own, more than one actually. I'll share one with you before we get started. It was a chilly October afternoon, and I was lost in the woods in El Chico National Park. I was cold, wet, and miserable. I'd been suffering from terrible anxiety attacks for the previous week, and I'd had enough. I went to El Chico to jump off a cliff. Trouble was, I couldn't find the path. I was completely lost. 2 nights earlier, I was chatting to a bot online. I don't know if you know this, but this is how suicide prevention works nowadays. You log on to a chat room, and you chat with a bot who asks you really general questions until you're connected with a real human who asks you the same really general questions. And it's supposed to make you feel less hopeless, but it actually has the opposite effect. I've actually suffered from anxiety and depression my whole life. Even as a little kid, I used to hide between the twin beds in my bedroom and cover my face with a blanket. I didn't know what else to do with these feelings, so I had to find some way to take solace. I also staged really violent accidents with my stuffed animals. But when I got tired of doing that, I'd hide between the beds and cover my face. Now, Mom thought it was really cute. She took pictures of me. I've seen them. But I gotta tell you, when you're battling demons at the age of 4, it's not that cute. There's a lot of literature online about how to deal with depression. Most of it, not so good. Most of what I found boiled down to spend time with positive people or focus on gratitude. Clearly, these people have never suffered from depression because that advice sucks. So let's fast forward. I'm back in my living room here in Mexico City, chatting online to this bot. Now, I felt really low and I have so many triggers that set me off. This time, I was having a series of what I call bad Mexico days. Maybe some of you know what I'm talking about. Everything works against you, and you end up feeling isolated and angry, and you want to crawl under a rock. But it was even worse than that. I mean, my boyfriend had just left for a couple of weeks in Tokyo, so I couldn't even talk to him. I felt completely alone. But it was more than bad Mexico days. I wasn't even myself. I was literally banging my head against the wall because sometimes physical pain is better than psychological pain. So I decided I've got to do something. So I get on Google and I find this webpage that's a suicide prevention chat. Excellent, let's try this out. I'm connected to the bot. We're going in circles until eventually I'm connected to a real person on the other side of the world. Now, I knew she was on the other side of the world because from her chat, her English was kind of off. Not to criticize her, but it was obviously she was probably in the Philippines. She starts asking me her general questions. Why are you feeling down? I already felt pathetic. I didn't want to say, culture shock after 12 years. God, get it together. So I tell her, well, you know, I'm missing my home country. What is your home country? I'm from the United States, but I live in Mexico. Tell me about the United States. Like she's never seen Friends and has no idea what the culture of my native country is like. I mean, even if you're not from the US, you have a general idea, probably wrong, but still, we all have an idea. So in frustration, I disconnected and I get sent back to the bot. And I end up just typing. Not even suicide prevention operators can help me. Fuck this. The screen goes gray and up pops a message. You have said a prohibited word. Okay, obviously the word was suicide, but goddamn, it's a suicide prevention chat room. I can't even say that. And up pops a 1-800 number in the United States that I can't dial from Mexico. Thank you for the help. It wasn't the first time I was let down by suicide prevention operators. When I was 16, back before I took the pills, back before they pumped my stomach, back before I had a date with Santa Ana Psych, I ended up calling the Orange County Suicide Prevention Hotline. It was busy. It was busy. Now, there's a really common saying in the United States that they took the entire country, tilted it to the west, and all the fruits and nuts rolled into California. So we have a long-standing reputation for being full of crazy people. So you'd think there would be entire call centers full of suicide prevention operators standing by ready to help. Well, this was back before the days of the internet, so I had to do something else. I went back to the phone book, found a number for a hotline in Los Angeles, just down the freeway. I call. Busy. San Diego. Busy. Inland Empire. Busy. Apparently, I picked the precise moment to kill myself that everyone else in Southern California was going to do the same thing. So, not only was I pathetic, I wasn't even original. That's what really pissed me off. So, fast forward, I'm now back in my living room in Mexico City, chatting to this bot, and I'm just furious. It's like, none of this is working for me. So I decide, you know what, tomorrow, taking that first bus to Pachuca, and then I'm going to go to El Chico, I'm going to jump off that cliff. Now, I don't know, maybe I wasn't, but I wanted to have the option, you know? Always have options ready. So, I end up, that night, the night before my grand plan, I end up getting drunk alone in a crappy hotel room in Pachuca. Because I'm not sad. I'm not sad at all. It started off okay, doing shots of tequila, and I was dancing in my underwear to Catalan pop music, which I love because I don't understand a damn thing. Now, I don't remember eating trail mix, and I don't remember passing out. But I do remember waking up the next morning, my entire body covered with trail mix. I picked a piece of dried mango off my butt. Got out of bed, trying to be less sad, jumped in the shower, and prepared to go downstairs to get my taxi and meet my maker. So I jump in the cab, and it's about 25 minutes to El Chico, to the visitor center, from downtown Pachuca. On our way up, the higher the elevation, it starts to rain. The higher we go, the more rain. By the time we get to the visitor center, it's pouring. I pay my fare, step out of the cab, and I'm wearing cargo shorts and a thin cotton shirt like this. I'm already freezing, but I got this because I know these trails like the back of my hand. I set out into the woods, and my demons were trying to smother me with mist. The clouds were so low, it was impossible to see. I couldn't orient myself, and I just start walking around in circles. Landmarks had moved, I was a wreck, and I was freezing cold, wetter by the moment. I definitely needed help, but the demons were winning. Maybe they weren't. Maybe Mother Nature had intervened on my behalf. Because it came to me, I just thought, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck the woods, fuck suicide. I just want to be warm, safe, and dry, preferably with some hot coffee and a freshly baked pasty, because there's so much of them in Hidalgo, right? So I need help. But once again, I'm all on my own. There's no one to help. So I suck it up, and I keep walking around through the woods, finally make my way to a 2-lane highway. It's the same highway I drove up to get to the visitor center. In all of my 2.5 hours of wandering in the woods, I was never more than a mile from the visitor center. Okay, maybe this is working. This is what was supposed to happen. So I go to the visitor center, walk inside, go up to the guy at the desk, swallow every ounce of pride, and I ask for help. I explain my situation. I'm stranded, no car, I need a taxi. Es que aquí no hay taxis. Well, could you call one for me? Ay, caray. Let me see if I can get you some help. He disappears into a back room. I'm waiting. I hear muffled conversations. And about 2 minutes later, out walks my savior. Tall, handsome, dark-haired, mustached forest ranger, walking right toward me, sucking on a lollipop. His lips were stained cherry red, and he walked right up to me. ¿Cómo te puedo ayudar? I think you already have. He tells me that if I pay him gas money, he can drive me to the next town over where I can get a combi, go back to Pachuca, get on with my life. I'm set. So we jump into his truck, and it's about 15 minutes to Real del Monte, home of pastes. And we're driving. I'm asking him about his life as a forest ranger. I'm trying not to turn it into a scene from a porno movie in my head. He asks me about life in the United States. Why did you come to Mexico? Because why would an American come to Mexico? Eventually, we reach the bus stop. I pay him the 100 pesos. I step out, and I thank him. I realize he has no idea, but I just say, thank you so much. You really saved my life. Ay, güey, pues no pasa nada, todo está bien. Thank you. I step down, I get on the bus, I step inside. I'm still wet, but I'm less cold, and already I know that things are going to be better. And as the bus takes off and starts going down the windy roads back to Pachuca, I just realized that, you know what, this isn't going to be the last time in my life that I need help, and it's okay to ask for help. Also, you never know who's going to show up to offer you help, because in the best case scenario, it's going to be a handsome Mexican forest ranger sucking on a lollipop.